Welcome everybody to the regular stated meeting of the Yarmouth Conservation Commission. My name is Ed Hoops, Chairman of the Conservation Commission. We will now convene the July 21st, 2022 meeting of the Yarmouth Conservation Commission. As required by General Law, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 through 25, and pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, the public are able to attend this meeting either in person or via the alternative public access. Members of the public may watch the meeting live on Channel 18 or watch and/or participate in the meeting hosted in Zoom. The meeting notice provides necessary instructions to join the meeting via Zoom. Please note that audio, video, and screen sharing functions will be disabled for all attendees. You may request to participate by using the raise hand function. I don't think we are, there's nobody remote, right? Rick is just running late, yep. So, all right. So I will just, I don't need to worry about a roll call even. So everybody, all six members of the commission are here. Rick Bishop is just arriving as we speak. So we're all set. We have a full board. This is the meeting for Thursday, July 21st, 2022. The first order of business is a continued notice of intent continued from July 7th, 2022 for SE 83-2342, Tyler Gaudreau, Environmental Landscape Solutions, LLC, 18 Hawes Run, Yarmouth, proposed reconstruction of retaining wall outside existing footprint, dry well installation with associated mitigation plantings and land bordering vegetated wetland and within riverfront area. Welcome aboard, Tyler.
Thank you. For the record, Tyler Gaudreau, Environmental Landscape Solutions, representing the client Robert Galante of 18 Hawes Run Road. Last time we were here, we discussed the site has an existing wood retaining wall that's failing, and we're proposing to include a two-tiered system in order to hold back the existing grade. And we also are adding 2 dry wells. There's a significant amount of mitigation added. There is a 1-foot tall fence that was requested by the chairman that we added along the wetland or delineated wetland, and then extending up to allow some of the naturally vegetated area. We also added a 4-foot wide path so that the client could access walking trails. And there was also some, there was a change into the verbiage of the wetland mitigation area. And we're seeking a negative determination.
Okay, thanks, Tyler. Questions from the board? No? Anybody in, sorry, Brittany? It'll take me a minute to get used to it again. Brittany, any questions? No? Anybody in the audience? Anybody in Zoom? If not, may I have a motion to approve the project?
I make a motion to approve the project.
Second, Tom.
Special conditions 1 through 7, 14 through 19, 20 through 23, 26, 44, and 45, unless somebody wants to add any more.
Okay, is there a second?
It was Tom.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. All right, thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
One page?
That's 2 pages.
2 pages.
Well, we're getting ready for the next order. I forgot to do it at the beginning of the meeting, but I wanted to just make sure everybody's aware. If you haven't noticed, there is a new face over here sitting in the administrator's chair. There's Brittany
Hi, Dawn
DiRienzo.
Marie.
Hi, Don Marie.
Brittany's old hat by now. She's old hat. I've taken her out a couple of
Don't pay attention
times.
to somebody else, but we all know. But the one that you don't know, that's Brittany. We are welcome to the Yarmouth Conservation Commission. We are very glad to have you aboard.
Here, here.
And we hope we will have a long and prosperous relationship. All right, next order of business is a notice of intent for Andrew P. Lane, NEQOZ 9698 LLC, 23 Crow Street, proposed raise and replace of existing single-family dwelling installation of new septic system, driveway, utilities, landscaping, appurtenances within land subject to coastal storm flowage. And Robin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is an interesting parcel of land located almost 200 feet from Ocean Avenue. It is in the old Pilgrim Acres subdivision. It is the section that is mostly dirt roads. Apparently, some 20 odd years ago, there was a minor leak in the basement of the existing house that turned into a major leak. And if you go up to the front window of this house, you'll see that what happened is that it washed out all the underpinnings of the first floor, and the first floor has collapsed into the basement. What we're proposing to do is to remove that and to put a new structure up in its place. It is a 4-bedroom. It is in land which is subject to coastal flooding, coastal inundation. The normal ground area around here is between 6 and 4.5. The flood zone in this area is elevation 10. So almost everything has got to be raised up a minimum of 5 feet minimum. In addition to that, the septic tank and leaching field have been designed such that they would be more than 5 feet above the existing groundwater with adjustment. And the septic tank has been designed so that it can take flooding. It is a 2,000-gallon tank with another 500 gallons of concrete going into the tank itself in order to keep the tank from being non-buoyant. We call for waterproof covers. What's interesting is we managed to get the inlets above the base flood elevation. Nonetheless, because of the area, everything is in a flood zone around it. We do call for a backflow valve into the septic system, going back into the house. The lot has to have considerable grading on it. It's going to be an elevated structure in a flood zone. You can see the house looks non-intrusive, but you don't want to step in the front door because it's going to break your neck. It's the first floor is down in the basement. It apparently has been this way for over 20 years. Of interest to the board, but not germane to this particular project, is the town of Yarmouth owns the parcel immediately to the northwest across Crow Street. And if I was not having health issues, I had volunteered to do that particular project for them. It was going to be a municipal housing project on that one particular lot, just a single-family dwelling. The neighbors should understand that progress is going to move forward. Somebody is going to do it. It just won't be me.
Okay, thank you, Robin. Questions from the board? Anybody?
Well, if I may,
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to see a better plan here because there are a lot of trees on there and there's no trees marked on this plan itself. It also does not tell us the change in size of the house going from whatever bedroom to a 4-bedroom, which by what I looked roughly is almost twice the size of the footprint, which may also have the elevation. We don't have the current elevation on this, just the elevation that they want to raise it to. So I find this plan's a little incomplete.
Anybody else? Robin, what is the square footage of the house, the existing house?
Existing.
Hmm?
What's the square footage of the existing house?
820.
820, and then,
There's also another 60 square feet on the back of it, which is, I believe, a utility room.
okay, so 880 total. And what's the proposed? What's the proposed? Did I miss it?
No,
What's the proposed square footage?
oh, the proposed square footage. About 1460.
All right. Somebody else have any?
I just want to say I concur with Ellie, and I like to see a better plan.
Okay. All right.
There's no number as far as I can tell.
Okay, so Brittany, any questions or comments? Great. Anybody in the audience? If you'd like to go up to the podium and state your name. And I'm just asking that you keep your comments brief, so I limit people to no more than 3 minutes, okay?
Sure. Good evening. My name is Tim Prevos, a butter across the street from the property, 24 Crow. I did some rough takeoffs. I don't have an actual CAD plan, so my takeoffs are approximate, but the existing house is listed by the town as 948 square feet. This parcel appears to be about 2,100 square feet for the dwelling itself. Over 2 times the existing. The other thing that we're taking into account also is the driveway, whether it's paved or permeable. If the driveway were to be paved along with the dwelling, it's 3.5 times the existing footprint of the existing house as far as impervious surface goes, which is a concern. All of us in the neighborhood have suffered in the last few years from increased groundwater penetration into our crawl spaces. In addition to that, the board is probably well familiar with the incidences of 44 Matachi. And generally speaking, we don't want to revisit that again. We have a serious concern with the elevation, sending all of the surrounding properties into a down gradient situation. Will all be down gradient by several feet from this proposed property. In a nutshell, that's sort of our general concerns. I don't know if there's any, my other neighbors that have anything else to bring up, but I thank the board for the time.
Okay, thank you. And could you spell your last name again?
Prevost, Prevost.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
My name is John Huff, Huff. We reside at 115 Ocean Avenue. We are direct butters on the eastern side of the property. Water seems to be the biggest problem here. Now, I don't know how many of you folks maybe remember the Ocean Avenue flooding of years ago. It was fairly significant. We were right at the epicenter of that. In all fairness to the town did do a good job after a while by getting catch basins in there, underground catch basins to mitigate that flooding. And since that happened, plus we went to a Title V septic system, we increased the ground level of our property and everything. The flooding has been reduced significantly. We're very concerned though with what you're telling here, where you're actually building up an entire property of 5 feet. I'm going to guess at that, of what we've heard from different areas or whatever. And there's not going to be any runoff. There's no way to put these into catch basins and everything. Crow Street is a dirt road. It becomes muddy in the fall and the springtime and everything. Summertime, probably not so much. But certainly it becomes an issue that we see as there's nothing being done to prevent what's really a borderline right now. Climate change is here. The atmosphere holds much, much, much more water than it did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So what was a 1 inch, a 2 inch storm, today can be a 4 inch storm. Just this week, New Haven had 4 inches of rain in a matter of a few hours. Came out of nowhere. It was never predicted. It was never seen. It can happen here. These are not tropical storms. These are just storm water. This is not tropical storm that I'm talking about at all. It's storm water that's coming from the rain, just plain old rain. The rains that we had out front of our property or whatever didn't happen just in the summer or the fall when you had tropical storms. It also occurred in the wintertime. That road froze. And people would drive up on our lawn and on our property and everything. In the spring, we had to clean up a lot of rutting and stuff like that. I cannot understand how you can allow something like this to be put in without a thorough evaluation, engineering evaluation of where the water is going to go. It just doesn't sound logical at all. Also, the trees there, that's a heavily treed lot. I mean, I need a couple of those trees taken down too, because over the 30 years that we've been there for 30 years, the trees have grown over toward our property and everything. And there's one large one right now that's endangering our house and everything. So I admit I have to probably do something with that too. But if you take all those trees down, that's just one additional area that is not going to allow the floodwater to subside. So.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. All right, anybody else?
Yeah.
All right, Go ahead and just state your name for the record, please.
Mike Argento. We're at 64 Matachi, right beside,
your last name again?
it's ARGENTO.
Thank you.
We're at 64 Matachi. And yeah, the concern is water. And the trees suck up so much water. It's just, can I have a picture? I've got a, this was from a couple of years ago. You know, with the two big holes going in for the septic and for the foundation, like digging a hole down the beach, gonna fill up with water. My wife and I replaced a fence post. I marked the post hole digger at 24 inches. At 20 inches, we hit water. And we pump. Most all the neighbors pump. So yeah, where are we gonna pump to?
Either rain or sleet or dark of night.
Actually, the police came down and coned off our end of Matachi. It was so bad. And the tow truck had to come down and get the mail truck. It was the concern, my concern, the trees, they suck up so much water. If we lose them, we're gonna lose shade. It's just a concern. And runoff. But, that's kind of where we stand.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is anybody else?
Hello, I'm Ann Argento, Mike's wife at 64 Matachi. As he said, the tree is a big issue. The trees are a big issue. We have planted as many trees as we can on our own property. I mean, people said, don't plant willows. We planted willows because they suck up the water. We're just afraid with a structure of that size, a 4-bedroom with a 2,000-gallon septic and a 2-car garage. How is that going to fit on that little spit of land? And what is it going to leave them even if they do replant? Water is our major issue. I mean, I know that somebody's going to come down and take that house down. I know that it is a danger to people to have that house the way it is. But do we need to replace it with a home that is that big on that small a piece of property? That's our concern. And we appreciate your time.
Great, thank you very much. Anyone else in the audience? Okay, just so the record, oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I'm Patty Prevost, and I live at 24 Crow Street, right across the street.
What? You get the name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the, all right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to reiterate, everything that everybody said is true. We have met the people that own the property, and they seem like lovely people. We are worried that from what we've seen in the surrounding neighborhood, the sizes of the houses that have been built, not only in our neighborhood, such as on Eldridge, but also in neighborhoods such as Birch Road and also on Wilfin Road, the sizes of the houses that are going up there against marshland seem to outweigh what the land itself can handle. So that's what we're afraid of. I couldn't find anything regarding the size of a house in Yarmouth to the size of the lot, the comparison, like how big of a house can you have on a lot that's only 13,000 square feet? So that's our main concern. Crow Street is a dirt road. People don't even know that we're there. We live across the street. People don't even know we're there. So we don't get a lot of attention as far as Crow Road goes, or Crow Street as we know it as. So we don't have much hope for the town helping us with the road since it's never been taken care of earlier. My other concern also is the size of the road in front of that house and my house is just the size of a regular road, be it dirt. How are construction vehicles going down there? How is an excavator getting down there? Where is the bin, the dumpster going? Where's the porta potty going? There's so many issues with this small little piece of land that go much beyond just the septic. And thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else? All right, just to let everybody know, we did receive 3 written comments about this hearing. All 3 of them are between the 3 of them. They're all the same things that we've heard so far with the tree issue, size issue, and water concerns. The 3 letters came from Julie and Don Almonte, and I'm sorry if I mangle your names here. Anthony M. Iacano and Heidi and Mark Malonis. All right, so any Zoom comment?
There is somebody that has their hand raised.
Oh, Don Almonte?
Hi, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm actually in a hotel in Maine, so hopefully I can come through clear. But my wife and I would like to just echo the comments that everybody else just made. We just bought our parcel at 70 Matachee. We love the neighborhood, but we have the same concerns that the house is just plain too big for that lot. Where's all the water going to go? We don't want the investment we just made to be ruined by this house. And I think nothing has been shown to me that I've seen. I've dug through the documents that are available of how this water is going to be managed. I think this needs to really be closely looked at, and if a house this size is appropriate on that lot. And I think that's the bottom line. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, we just love the feel of the neighborhood. We bought it because it was reminiscent of our youth going down to the Cape, small one-level cottages. And when you go into a neighborhood that's pretty cohesive and pretty authentic to the Cape, and then you see the one at, I believe it was 44 that was built, it looks completely out of place. And this that is being proposed is going to loom over our home, over our neighbors, the Argentos, over the Provosts. It's just going to look completely and utterly out of place. And we love Yarmouth because you've been keeping that feel and appeal of the Cape. I'm not bombarded with advertisements. I'm not bombarded with everything from the mainland Massachusetts. I know I'm down the Cape, but you put a house that size and it just ruins that whole feel. And we would just love for something to go there that would maintain that integrity of the neighborhood, respectful of the area, the integrity, and of course, huge environmental concerns, not only of the mitigation of the water, but also of the habitats and the animals and everything else that's been established. It really needs to be a 2022 concern forefront, especially of a conservation committee. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. It was that was Don, Don and Julie Almonte, ALMOTE, which they also said the same thing here in their written comment. Right.
So,
yeah, correct.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's important for the board as well as the applicant to understand that even if this project were to be replaced in a like for like situation, that same size home, we would still be dealing with the flood issues. So we still have an elevation change, pretty dramatic, and septic. So can't lose sight of the fact that whatever size is kind of irrelevant to our discussion. It's more elevation and water control.
Which would, I mean, again, so because this is only a floodplain filing, it's, again, there are no performance standards for floodplain and under the Wetlands Protection Act. So there's not a lot of guidance to help us along the way on that one. So, but I think those are very valuable comments, Rick. Thank you. All right, anybody else? How is it, do you want to see a second plan, or?
I would like to see a second plan with more detail on this, because it says it's elevated, but it doesn't tell us what the elevation is. It's going 6 feet.
Okay.
But where is it there?
With the
The it is a very wooded lot, as the pictures show, and we would lose a lot of that vegetation there if they put this house in, when they moved it back and put the house in, because it basically fills up the lot. I don't know, what is the, maybe that's something for Mark. What is the ratio for building to,
And it's a
Right.
zoning
Yeah,
and
that's what
building
I-
issue.
yeah,
I don't
that's-
know,
that would
but
be- yeah.
it doesn't have any purview with us.
yeah, it's on one of them. Yeah. But I would like to see a more detailed plan on this.
Okay, same, David.
Yep.
All right, so,
Mr. Chairman?
yeah,
Yeah, I'd also, just to, excuse me, follow up on some of Rick's comments. I certainly understand where the neighbors are concerned about the size of the property, but are the concerns regarding the water levels addressed by building, I'm sorry, one of my ears is blocked up, by decreasing the size of the house? I think what Rick is saying, even though it doesn't, because of the area that's being built on. So sometimes I think it's almost as if we need a little bit more of a scientific approach to this. There are concerns by abutters and other folks, town people, about, well, what happens when you put a big house on a smaller lot where a small house has been in an area that has difficulties with water levels. What really happens and why? Would it be the same as it is now? There are the inclusion of some dry wells and so on. I'm sure that doesn't solve all the problems in that area because of the water table level. But, just so people kind of get a clear picture of whether or not the thinking about putting a larger house on it really does exacerbate the difficulties in the area, or if it's negligible just because of the area that the building, whatever size it is built on. That's what I kind of wonder about sometimes. Yeah, to be fair, both to the neighbors and to the people who want to build a house there and own the property.
yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. Like I said, that's the whole point behind the fact that, again, there are no performance standards for land subject to coastal storm flowage, and this has been the same problem for 25 years, at least since I've been in conservation. And it's not, and I get it. I get it. In terms of water, in terms of size is a zoning issue. In terms of water management, again, it becomes more of a civil issue, and I don't like saying that, but that's what it comes down to, that they are not supposed to be shedding any more water onto somebody else's property. I know that's small comfort for people who live next door. And so I definitely have a sympathy on that. But again, the fact remains is that in a flood zone only lot, you can pretty much cut down everything if you want to, and there's really nothing we can do to stop that. So the best we can do is hope for a well-managed building envelope. So I think that's all we can say. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Planning ahead for rainstorms is out of nowhere. Are you making plans for roads and things like that? For housing, places that do have crawl spaces?
Yeah, we would play a part of that, but it's in its infancy, I would say. They are concerned with it. They are certainly thinking about it, but they're really just beginning to think about how to address it. So, the town, yeah. Mhm. Let's see. So, yeah, Pat.
I think the plan, we need to see some plans where, what type of driveway is going to go in, and
Yeah.
and where is this garage, and just where is it all?
Delineate the existing structure,
I'm sorry.
more clearly delineate the existing structure.
Okay. All right, so if you could, Robin, can you send this, we're gonna send this back to you for just a little tweaking here, but a particular interest, the type of driveway, so it's paved or impervious. If you could better call out the existing, the size of the existing and location of the existing dwelling, as well as the size and location of the new building. Better, just a little bit better, more detail in terms of elevations on the property. I think I got that.
Trees,
The square
cutting
footage.
trees.
I can ask for trees, but I mean, if you, it looks like if you put trees on this, all the trees that you're asking them to put on, it's gonna be nothing but dots. It'll look like it has the smallpox, so.
Somebody want the garage, location of the garage on there? I thought I heard that.
Well, I have size difference in buildings and elevation, right? Elevation.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the driveway would, because it wasn't real clear as to me as where the driveway was, so.
What's it made of?
Yeah, and we've asked for the composition. So you've got all that?
I got
Okay,
it,
can
I
you
got
get
it all.
So we have
In
the
your,
driveway pervious, the size difference in the buildings and the elevation levels, is that?
Right.
And that's
Ed,
Okay, you're good? Yep. Okay, yeah, Robin?
in your original packet that was filed is a copy of the flood zone. Anything that is kind of green is in the flood zone. So literally everything around it is in a flood zone.
I understand that, Robin, and I've made,
And therefore the only criteria is flood zone. And
I
the flood zone
understand.
doesn't have any
Performance standards.
Performance standards, I know,
any limitations on it other than trying to contain the water. In my further review of the plan, the only thing we do call for gutters, downspouts, and dry wells, and I would suggest switching the dry wells out to infiltrators just because they're going to be sitting in water.
okay, I understand what you're saying, Robin. If you're saying you don't want to if you don't want to do the update, I can, the only other choice I have is to call for a vote.
The percentage of
I don't know if it'll
coverage of the
change.
lot is less than 15% for that house.
Again, it has nothing to do with us, though. I understand what you're saying. So I'm asking you, do you want us to continue it for 2 weeks until you can address those things with a new plan, or?
You want to make
We've had success with properties in this neighborhood with berms to control the water in the past. There's been a, I know. I know.
And that would be the,
I would say the easiest way is to, the existing structure is on there. The dark rectangular structure is what's existing. And what's proposed is immediately to the south of it.
See, that's making a lot of difference. I would suggest that in the future, use a white plan rather than the old blueprints. I mean, I know it's tradition for you, but
There are elevations all over the entire lot, plus ground contours. You want me to highlight them?
well, just have the contours, I mean, every 2 feet.
yeah,
It
I mean,
isn't that hilly there, it's pretty flat.
Sure is.
so they're asking for the contours to be, is to join them with contour lines.
Yeah. We've got existing and proposed contours on it.
No, I see that now. I understand.
And to be quite frank with you, the last plan that I did that was in a flood zone, the health department doesn't understand it.
Again, Robin, I'm just asking you from a conservation standpoint. So I'd like to move this forward one way or the other. Do you want to take the continuance? Or are you telling me, no, you don't, you just want us to vote now?
That's what you want. We'll be happy to
No,
give it
that's-
to you.
No, that's what he's
I'm asking
Do
you.
want to take continuance, or do you want them to vote?
Oh, let's get rid of it.
Your vote.
Just make the driveway pervious and switch out the dry wells to infiltrators.
Okay, so you're still gonna have to come up with a revised plan showing
Something
that,
shallow.
right?
You want to revise your plan?
Yes,
Hmm.
we-
You want to revise the plan?
No,
There's no SE number.
We're voting.
There's no SE number.
There's no notation on driveway materials either.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna table it. I'm gonna table this until, what's our next one? August 4th, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna table this to August 4th. If a new plan comes in between now and then, we will go ahead and consider that new plan. If not, we hopefully will have the SE3 number by that time, at which point we will go and vote.
Well, we couldn't vote on it anyways if we don't have an SE number.
We can vote, we could have just voted, it would have been without, we had to wait until the SE number was
We
issued.
could issue it.
So I would rather just table it like this. We'll table it until August 4th, and go from there. All right,
So moved.
okay, second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Who's second?
Pat did.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, thanks, Robin. We'll see you on the 4th of August.
I wasn't trying to be hard, Ed.
I get that. Robin, we have too many
I
years between. I don't take that
frankly-
personally.
I'm not figuring that I will be here in 10 days.
Hey, Robin, I'm very sorry.
So I was trying to give my client an answer. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you, Robin.
Yes.
And I hope to see you on the 4th.
We're closed.
Okay, yeah. It's my,
The application.
yeah,
On page 4 of 9, it says land subject to coastal storm flowage or whatever. And that just has no, it's like, hold on. The other question, the question I really have is on page 7 of 9. Section 7, it says, is this project subject to provisions of the Mass DEP stormwater management standards?
no, it's not, because it's a single family home. Single family homes are exempted from that. Okay, single family homes, yep. Okay,
No standard at all for stormwater.
not for single family homes, nope. But they aren't covered. Sure. All right, next order of business is another notice of intent for SE 83-2343 David Palmer Crest Valley Development 17 Crest Circle, Yarmouth. Proposed raise and replacement of a single family dwelling within the buffer to a coastal bank and bordering vegetated wetland and within riverfront area and land subject to coastal storm flowage. Sure, you just ignore me there, Karen, that's fine, I don't care. That's fine. That's fine.
Sorry.
Karen, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Kieran Healy. I'm a land surveyor with the BSC Group. With me are the partners of the ownership of the property here tonight, Crest Valley Development LLC. What we're looking to do is do a single family raise and replace on a lot at number 17 Crest Valley. The existing house is in bad shape and a portion of it is within the flood zone, and we are looking to do a raise and replace. The other resource areas out here are the Riverfront area, the coastal bank, the wetland buffers, and as I mentioned, the current house is within the flood zone. We are looking to move the house back from away from the water side towards the street side to get it outside of the flood zone area. As part of our project here, we are looking to rebuild the coastal bank, which was excavated, put in the walkout elevation that's at the back of the building. So you'll see on the back of the plan where my contours are, to try and level out the bank to put it back to its natural location. Excuse me. We're proposing to remove the existing driveways, replace it with a bid driveway in front. We're proposing a trench drain at the edge of the roadway to be captured by a catch basin, dry well. And we're also proposing 2 dry wells on the back sides of the house to pick up gutters and run off from the gutters. You'll see a number of calculations on the property where we've got riverfront area, coastal bank areas, wetland areas, and flood zone area of all of our disturbances. We are proposing mitigation for the work that we're doing on the rear of the property, and basically rebuilding and then replanting that whole area at the back of the property towards the water side. It's an existing 3-bedroom home, and we're going to a 3-bedroom home. The septic system that's out there is relatively new, and we'll be looking to maintain that in its current location. It did pass the Title V inspection recently. Other than that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that the board may have.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Questions from the board? Nothing? Brittany, anything?
I noticed there's an increase in square footage in the 50-foot buffer zone, even though there's a decrease in the 35.
Your microphone on.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Just, you have to speak into it so people can hear it. Otherwise, Dave will come out and yell at you.
Sorry, yeah, there's an increase in square foot coverage in the 50-foot buffer zone, even though there is a decrease in the 35. And I'm assuming your mitigation is covering for that increase.
Right, the mitigation was more strict with the riverfront area. Yeah. In that area, we would have done 1 for 1. In the riverfront area, we did 2 for 1. Okay. So that we've got more mitigation, should we say, that we needed for that section. So we went with the worst case, which would be the riverfront area. And as a result, I believe we're covered in mitigation for that increase if the board finds.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. It is, and they are moving the structure back, so it's getting further away from the coastal bank than what it was before. Any?
Here is the line existing. It's here.
Right, so are they moving it further from the 50? Okay, outside the 50.
There.
Okay, you're all set?
Yeah, I was just questioning that it looks like the new building is outside the 50.
Outside the 50 to the buffer, to the BBW, but not to the coastal bank.
And a portion of the coastal bank was created by the excavation in for the walk-in, walk-out. So by having the walkout, it made the coastal bank come further uphill.
There's a lot like that down in that neighborhood. Anybody in the audience have any comments, questions? Anybody in Zoom? Okay, unless there's any further.
Chairman?
Yep.
Yeah, I see, Karen, that it's the existing 3-bedroom dwelling. What is the replacement? How many bedrooms?
3.
3 also. Okay.
You all set?
Yeah.
Unless there's any further discussion among the board, would somebody like to make a motion?
Oh, join the-
Ellie's doing the.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I'll move.
You'll make the motion. This is Crest Valley, right?
Okay.
Correct.
So it may need help for conditions, but looks like 1 through 7. Am I right so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, 8
Eight through.
through 13? 12.
Well.
8 through 12?
Not 13?
13 is.
Coastal storm flowage. Or- don't see that as being.
Oh, here, sorry.
14, right?
Yep.
Through 14 through 19.
20,
20,
21.
21, and 23, right? 20, 21, not 22.
No.
23, there,
5.
25, 26,
Keep going.
keep going. 44 and 45.
Right.
Oh,
Let me repeat that, Ellie, for you.
No, I got it 1 through 7.
Yeah.
8 through 12.
Yeah.
14 through 19.
Yeah.
20, 21.
Yeah.
23, 25, 26, 24, and 45.
You make a good team. Thank you.
Okay, and I would just point out, it's where it says, it's saying the buffer strip of native vegetation, that's, it's not the buffer, it's not really a buffer strip, but it's the mitigation area. So,
One mitigation.
okay.
And we need a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Struggling with my glasses for some reason. We Get some new ones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members. Has the SE number been issued?
For this one, it was 2343. The next one is 2344.
Thank you.
All right, next order of business is another notice of intent for SE 83-2344, David Palmer, Crest Valley Department Development, 24 Valley Road, Yarmouth, proposed raise and replacement of a single-family dwelling and in-ground pool within Coastal Bank Riverfront area and land subject to coastal storm flowage. Thank you. Thank you, Karen.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members. For the record, again, my name is Kieran Healy. I'm a land surveyor with the BSC Group, representing the owner of the properties, Crest Valley Development LLC, with the partners in the LLC. This is similar to the last project in that we are looking to do a raise and replace of an existing dwelling. In this particular case, the current dwelling is 3 bedrooms, and the 2-story building in the back is a 1-bedroom unit. We are proposing to replace those 4 bedrooms with a 4-bedroom house in kind. We are looking to replace the septic system in this case, where we will be able to get the septic system as far away from the river and the wetlands as possible. In this particular case, the coastal bank is on the upland side of Valley Road. The north side of Valley Road is pretty flat, and the coastal bank runs across the road and up in front of our property. There is riverfront area on the property. The salt marsh buffer, you can see, just basically touches the very front corner of the property, but the majority of this work is within the 50-foot buffer, the coastal bank, and within the 200-foot riverfront area in the front area. So we are proposing mitigation again. We are proposing a row of plantings on the rear of the property. There will be grading associated with this. The current driveway is down extremely low at the front corner of the property. We are looking to bring a driveway up the side of the property, so the parking will be at the very rear. In this case, we're also proposing a trench drain at the bottom of the driveway into a 500-gallon leaching chamber. We're also proposing dry wells to pick up the gutters from the house itself. Other than that, it's a complete redevelopment of the site. There is an existing propane tank in the ground that will be removed as part of this project. And other than that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Questions from the board? Nothing? Well, I'm gonna go to Paul first because I saw his hand first. Paul?
Yes, I just had a question about the driveway alongside is pervious.
Yes, it is pervious because of the steepness of it. We do have a trench drain at the bottom to pick up anything that comes in, but it is steep, and as a result, we need to go with pavement.
Okay. You say pervious or impervious?
Pervious.
Pervious.
I'm sorry, it is impervious because of its steepness.
Impervious.
It'll be bituminous. Thank you, David. I meant to say impervious.
It's a little. So again, with the impervious driveway, because I was there, it's a hill going down into the road. What will happen with the water?
At the bottom, just before it reaches the road, we plan a trench drain, which will go from one side of the driveway all across to the other side. And then we have a 500-gallon dry well to pick up the water once it goes into that trench drain. The base of the trench drain is like a metal cover 6 inches wide. It goes the entire width of the driveway.
I'm sorry, just another question on that. So in the front of the on a Valley Road side and also in the back, there's 2 proposed stone parking areas. Right?
Correct. Well, the one in front basically is, that's the existing shell parking area in the front. Yeah. So basically, we're going to be going up that, getting to the back, and then at the very back where it flattens out, there will just be a space right there so people can basically do a U-turn or not a U-turn, but a 3-point turn to get out of the garage because it is so tight at that corner.
Yeah. And so the impervious driveway is blacktop?
The impervious driveway would be blacktop, so you get to that stone parking area.
There's a trench drain.
And it looks like in proportion to things, that how wide is that?
I don't see the, I don't.
It's only 12 feet wide.
12 feet?
12, yes.
Okay,
Great question.
Thank you.
Assuming the driveway is here, but I'm not sure.
We're a little confused by the driveway. Sorry. A little confused by the new driveway.
Okay, if I could, the driveway basically starts here,
Yeah.
comes up, and drives into the garage.
Ah.
And you'll be able to reverse out. The blacktop stops here. This area would be stone because it's flat. And then back down.
they'll do a 3-bedroom.
And where is the drench?
Trench drain is right here, right at the edge of.
Right at the edge of that? Is that on this?
Yeah, it says proposed trench.
Okay.
Proposed trench
Oh,
drain to
okay, got it.
500
I got it. I got it.
Oh, God.
We could put it down a little bit further, but then it would be in the road layout. So we always try and put them on the client's property. So if the town goes by or the gas company goes by, they're not ripping these out to put it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you said it was gonna be, it was still gonna be stone up at the opposite end of the road of the driveway. It's still gonna remain stone, or you're making that all?
If I could, Mr. Chairman, the only stone area would be
Right at
this
the top.
section right here.
Okay,
Where-
all right.
where it
That's what I was
flattens out.
checking about. All right, thank you.
How long is it going?
95 feet approximately. Yeah.
By,
10, 11. Maybe 12. Quick. So 95 times 12 is how many square feet of asphalt?
David, are you all set?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Rick, you're good?
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
1100.
You're waiting. I'll go back to Paul.
Yeah, not to belabor this too much, but But as far as, isn't there another method to put down basically a impervious driveway, but it has openings in it or blocks or something? I've seen them in different places. Would that be at all possible or beneficial to the area? I don't know. 'Cause it would allow some of the runoff to go into the ground. You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen the bricks with
Pavers.
the glass to go through them. But it's generally for supporting heavier vehicles in flat areas.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them where it goes, where the issue is vertical, where it's going up a slope. I have seen them where people, like fire departments, might ask somebody to put those in, so there's an extra way for a vehicle to get into a site.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen them used on a slope.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Pavers.
The pavers. They're more like cinder blocks with openings in the cinder block where the glass can go through, where you've got that weighted support on the sort of, underneath the glass.
I wonder how that would work on a slope. That's interesting.
I'd be afraid that it would. Eventually, but
Mr. Healy, what's material for the proposed stone patio?
That would be a pervious paver. That part would be pervious.
And is there any kind of a deck around the soak pool?
No, just the lawn itself. We weren't planning.
Okay. Thank you.
obviously, we're gonna need to have a revised plan. Could you just call that out, that it's lawn around the soak pool, and make note of the, what were we just talking about?
Pavers.
Oh, the pavers, the pervious patio. Okay. And then it says proposed rent station. Is that, if there's no footprint to it, so is there?
It's
there
just
a
a
lot of
simple 5x3.
Okay, we could just draw that in then, would you please? Okay. And then then again, the change for the driveway from the shell paving to the.
I'm sorry, the shell paving
Oh,
is
that's
light.
staying.
It's light. No, I'm sorry. That's light because that's what's existing.
Oh, I got
We're
you.
just
I'm
we're
sorry.
identifying what's existing there. So that was never intended to be shell. That's what it is today. But just have a flat area.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Just wonder how the commission feels about a pervious versus impervious driveway, if there's any feeling on that.
I always would rather see an impervious driveway if it's possible.
And I fully understand that. The only reason we're going with bituminous here is that we're going from elevation 6 down at the street up to elevation 15 to get into the garage. And pervious crushed stone or anything like that, it just doesn't wear in the wintertime or anything like that going up. That's the only reason, if the concern purely is the rain runoff, and we can add another 500-gallon dry well underneath the area to catch up, that, be sure that there's no question of water, if that's what the commission would feel like. But
yeah,
I think that would be the better way.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you're right. That's just going to wash out.
So we'd be add another dry well.
Anything else from the commission? Brittany, any comments or concerns?
No comments.
Anybody in the audience? Anybody in Zoom? Would somebody like to unless there's further discussion among the board, would somebody like to make a motion? I'm sorry, this will be a continuance. Yeah, I think they're going to want to wait. They're going to want to see it all, but I don't think we have any issues with it. Once you.
And that would be August 4th.
Yeah, is that what you want, right? You want
It
to see
is.
it before you?
Yes.
That's what I was getting.
August 4th, that's all right?
Yes.
August 4th? Yes.
Yes, August 4th is good. Yes.
Okay, all right. So could I have a motion to continue to August 4th?
So moved.
Second,
All
John.
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Karen. Don't sign that.
That's the new method.
Changes mid-course.
Next, Order of
Just
business
pass
is
it.
another notice of intent for 1718 Neptune Lane LLC, 17 Neptune Lane, Yarmouth, proposed repair and replacement. Timber bulkhead within land under the ocean, coastal bank and land subject to coastal storm flowage.
Over to here.
Nobody in Zoom land for this?
Doesn't look like
No,
it.
there is somebody that has their hand raised.
Oh, Todd. Okay, I see you, Todd.
Yes.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now, Todd. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. Todd Turcott from Coastal Engineering, representing the applicant. Tonight, we're proposing a replacement of a deteriorated bulkhead for what is called Skippy's Marina in addition to the 1517 Neptune Lane LLC. It's approximately 235 feet of bulkhead, timber bulkhead that will be replaced with a steel bulkhead with a tieback system and concrete anchor deadman. And it'll have approximately 15-foot returns at the existing boat ramp. And the existing riprap in that area will be reworked to accommodate the installation of the steel sheet pile wall. We will also be removing and replacing the existing timber deck that is out there that provides outdoor seating for dining. That will be removed so that we can dig down and remove the existing dead men and anchors and replace it with new anchors. We are also proposing temporary piles for the next couple of months to support the timber deck because the building official's office was concerned about occupancy loading on it. And due to the condition of the bulkhead, we concurred that they should reduce the loading on the decking. But the owner would like to continue using it. So until we can do the actual construction of the bulkhead, we are asking to put in some temporary helical anchors to support that and take any load off of the wall that may cause a localized failure due to the deterioration of the wall. We are proposing the new sheet pile wall to be installed behind the existing timber, and that timber bulkhead will be removed. It will not be buried under like many situations where we put it in front. We will be putting it behind for this situation, mainly due to the undulation of the existing bulkhead. In some areas there's toe failure, so the bottom is sticking out further than the top. In other areas it is leaning forward where the top is sticking out further. Makes it very difficult to produce a straight line, and also reduce the loss of float space and marina space. So this will protect the installation while we do the steel, and then the timber and the material behind the timber between the sheet piles will be removed with a back truck. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, thank you. Questions from the board?
What's the proposed schedule for this work?
This fall, winter,
Are you
once the boating seasons is done.
anticipating any winter flounder issues? Have you considered that?
We have, and DMF provided a comment letter that they have no concerns or restrictions based on the way we're installing this, because we have turbidity barriers right in front of the timber, but all the work of driving is actually behind the existing timber, so there won't be any additional turbidity that would cause any of those issues.
And the material you've chosen for replacement of the bulkhead is pressure treated timbers?
No, it is steel. It'll be epoxy coated steel.
Yeah, I missed that. Thank you.
No problem.
And I guess my final question is, the material for the deck?
Will be pressure treated.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Will this, I have a question. Will this be done by seaward or landward? Most of the work?
Most of the work will be done by barge to drive the sheet piles, but there will be landward work for excavation to remove the material behind the wall in order to install it and install the dead men. It will be basically limited to the area between the bulkhead and the existing foundation of the restaurant. So it's all currently now mostly decking. There is some grassed areas that are mowed that will be disturbed also. But for the most part, it's that area between the bulkhead and the restaurant.
Mostly be done tidally so that the barge doesn't ground out at low tide.
Correct. In the bar, we have, in this area, because we already have floats in there, we have approximately 3 feet of water at low tide, and the barge will be several feet away from it, where it's almost 5 feet at low tide. So the barge should not draw any water that'll ground at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Todd, so I see you have the planter. I'm trying to find out exactly, I don't see the outline of it actually, and I don't know if I'm making it out right or not here, but there's that planting area that's immediately behind the current bulkhead. Are you moving that all back? Is that the plan?
That planter is really just, I think, more of a landscape planter. It's maybe got just, it's maybe elevated by one timber. That'll all be that'll be put back to the existing condition. It's more just a landscape planter in that area.
So are you taking all the shrubs that are there and just moving everything back, or?
It'll be removed and replaced in kind.
Okay, well, I would ask if you were replacing in kind, you'd do something different, but
okay.
Yeah, you would add something different in terms of vegetation if you're truly going to pull everything out.
Yes, we will be. We'll be excavating down about 2 to 3 feet probably.
Okay, and then I would also ask that you not, because I did notice that there's a lot of there's irrigation running all along that. I don't think that's really necessary back there either. So, and if you change the planting, you could pick different things that we're going to actually do a little bit better without having to require irrigation.
I got one more, just one more.
Okay, Rick.
Todd, I'm sure you're aware there was some emergency dredging done at the mouth of your marina earlier this year.
Correct.
I'm just, I guess, a little concerned that there won't be any need for maintenance dredging, and if there were, how you would proceed with that.
If there are, in the future, there may be additional maintenance dredging. I think, I wasn't involved in the emergency dredging out at the mouth of the marina, but it's very possible that it may be some of the changes in the Route 28 overpass, the culvert, increasing that passage, and I think we're just seeing an increase of flow and sediment possibly. So we will be monitoring with the owner that effect at the end of the marina, and if there's maintenance dredging, that's something that we'll deal with in the future. But it is typical in marinas because these are inlets that sediment can definitely deposit here as it moves, that we will have to deal with.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Just to be clear, Ed, you're asking for part of the conditions to be different vegetation and getting rid of the irrigation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had it here someplace.
Native vegetation.
And I thought I saw EMF comment.
Spelling's terrible.
Although I don't see it now.
It was an email it wasn't an actual letter. It was just an email.
Maybe that's what I texted. Could I see the email? Okay, sorry. That's why I'm not finding it in the file. Okay, Brittany. Questions, comments?
No questions.
Anybody in the audience? Any further discussion? Oops, sorry. Anybody else in Zoom?
Nope, don't see him.
Any further discussion among the commission? Would somebody like to make a motion to, would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
So moved. With special conditions. Here we go. 1 through 7. Normal. 14 through 19. 20, 21, and 23. 26. 27, 28. 31. 33, 34. Through 37. And 44 and 45 with the request of native vegetation being replaced, the vegetation being replaced with native vegetation with no irrigation.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Pat. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Two of them.
Thank you.
We have two orders or two certificates of compliance, one for SE 83-1745 17 Neptune Lane and SE 83-395 or 18 Mattis Drive. Both of those are okay to go. So do I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for SE 83-395 18 Mattis and SE 83-1745 17 Neptune Lane?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Ellie.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
One page.
One page. One page.
2 pages on this. 1 page on this.
All right, next order of business is an emergency certification for 681 Route 28. It's a request for emergency certification. That's very easy. This is a failing revetment, I believe. Okay, so Todd, you want to go ahead?
Actually, I'm gonna have my associate, Catherine. She was the one last on the site, so she saw it most recently, but we've been working with this client for a little while now, trying to resolve some of the Chapter 91 license maintenance issues in a conjunction with this erosion that's occurring adjacent to it. But I'd like to turn it over to Catherine if possible.
Okay, Catherine, go ahead.
Hi, this is Catherine Ricks with Coastal Engineering. And this right here, and another section of this more north has just been recently replaced for just about the same reason. But this section towards the restaurant is failing now. It has been undermined and it has slipped down, and it's the rocks with the concrete in them. And we are proposing to do the emergency in that area, ending approximately 2 to 4 feet from the building, where there's kind of a natural stop and a section in the rocks. And when he rebuilds it, we're going to have Denny McGinn with Easy Does It do it. He's not going to concrete the rocks together again. It'll be separate rocks, so it doesn't all fail at once when it does fail. But there are it's slipping, and within the past 6 to 9 months, it's failed significantly more than it had been. So we were just looking at this point to redo that section.
Okay.
Commissioners, if I might add to Catherine's there, just so that I maybe explain myself a little bit better as to what we're working on with Mass DEP and Chapter 91. that washout area that does not have any stone on it, in the original Chapter 91 license from the 1990s, require that that stay unrevetted, because back then it was a salt marsh area and supposed to be a public access area. And it has continued to erode, and it's now gotten to that point, but the area in that, we can't just go revet that. So we're working with the state on resolving the issues from the 1990s from the previous owners that did portions of the project and not all of it. We'll put it that way, as the simplest way. But the revetted area is all that we're talking about for the emergency. We know there's a whole nother request and ask for the washout area. So I just wanted to be clear. I may not have been very clear then.
Okay, so it's just the southern revetment, right?
Correct. Just that southern portion.
Okay, so it's just the southern revetment. Everybody just say that's what they're not doing anything else to any portion of the area north of that. So
they're waiting to hear information from DEP.
Yes, and it'll be in the same footprint that it is now. It's not going to move the toe's not going to move seaward. It's not going to move landward. It's just going to be in the same footprint.
okay, so you're planning on filing a notice of intent to cover this emergency section as well, right?
In the future, after we work with the DEP on the Chapter 91 license and fill in that section north of it to make a full revetment from Route 28 south to the restaurant. It actually continues under the deck of the restaurant. But the rest of it right now looks like it's in place. In the future, we will be filing an NOI for to revet the full section where there's no longer any salt marsh in that area that's between that north section and the south section. But for right now, we just want to, because it's failing and it's getting closer to the restaurant, we want to just be able to rebuild that section south of that gap area to just north of the restaurant.
But you're not planning on doing any kind of notice of intent to cover that? You're going to wait until everything is done?
No.
Well, with the emergency, we have to file the notice of intent. Yes, once the emergency is completed, we just need to get moving on it just because it is quickly failing into the river there. But there will be the follow-up notice of intent. Yes.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board?
Has the applicant considered a sheathing solution to this, so you wouldn't have to deal with the undercut in the future?
We are looking at other options for the engineering when we do the full way. But for right now, just because of how much it's failing, we just wanted to move forward with the emergency. But yes, we are looking at other potential engineering options to protect the restaurant and the parking area.
Thank you.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, and I wonder if you could just summarize some of that information, because it's a little bit hard to hear everything you said in a nutshell. They're planning on fixing a portion of it and not all of it.
So it's just the southern section.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the revetment from the bridge essentially down to the gap where the salt marsh is,
yeah,
and then that other revetment. And so it's just that southern portion of the revetment that's being replaced under the emergency order. They are keeping it in the same footprint.
Yeah.
I would, so I mean, I would ask that again. Well, so that they're replacing it in the same footprint. And let's see what else. I think that was pretty much that was the gist of it.
It is.
Okay. There was some comment about a public access
Formerly
area. That's something from the past, they said?
Yeah.
What would that be?
I don't remember.
Through the chair, I can explain that. That was me that said that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep. So just to clarify, as part of the Chapter 91 issuance in the 1990s, there was a public access from Route 28 to the washout area which actually was a bump out back in the 90s, that was supposed to be left as a public area, access area to the high water. And that's what we're having to negotiate with the state on, because back in the 90s, they were allowed to fill, by revetting that, they were allowed to fill tidelands. So as a result, they requested that it be public access. And now that public access has been lost, and we're having to negotiate the best solution for that to meet the 91 requirements.
Thank you.
No, that's not for this one. I was gonna ask about that more, but
Just approve it.
all right, anybody else? Brittany? Audience? Zoom land? No? Any further discussion among the board? Would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we allow for the emergency repair of the river.
Oh, you know what? Brittany, could you bring those the pictures up? Again, I see the area, the one area to the north. So this doesn't have to be handled as part of the. Well, I guess it'll sort of get run into it as part of the emergency. But on that one section up toward the corner of the parking lot where there's one of the, I think it's a light pole. There you go. You got that big gaping sinkhole, and you got a big old.
It's a fake piling just for aesthetics.
I thought it was a light. I just.
It's just a fake piling.
It's
Yeah.
It's just an aesthetic.
But I don't what no, and I don't care about it, to be honest. I don't care about what I'm asking about. I'm asking about the irrigation that's sitting there. I just don't think you should be putting any irrigation things behind the wall there like that. It's another contributing force that can help or aid the sinkhole.
Yeah, good eye.
So,
Agree.
Mr. Chairman, we completely concur with that and have asked that to be removed as part of this.
okay, and then I guess if you would to consider when you're putting this whole thing together, and putting the notice of intent together. Again, that whole area behind it and to the south, essentially from the sinkhole south to the restaurant, to the little deck portion that sort of overhangs everything. I mean, I'm noticing again, there's a lot of irrigation in there. There's lawn right there. There's also a downspout that's draining directly into the river. I realize it's a very small contribution, and it's from a stormwater standpoint, it's not a big issue. It's relatively clean, but maybe we could think about something different there, and instead of lawn and irrigated lawn, that sort of thing. Use the runoff for watering something else there. But that's just my own comment with that one. So anyhow, so is there a second?
Second, David.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
All right, I'm going to do this afterwards.
Find anything for the emergency?
Yep, I'll have to find one page. Right, other business, we have approval of meeting minutes. I think we already did June 16th, but if somebody would like to make it again, that would be fine, and then July 7th.
David, you had a concern about the voting tally. Has that been addressed?
Yeah, it was corrected.
Okay.
The one that we went 4-2, yes, that was corrected. Thank you. So I'd make a motion that we accept and approve the minutes of June 16th and July 7th.
Okay, is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Any other business not normally or not reasonably anticipated?
Are we going back to Monday site visits when we know that we have a person in charge? Person in charge?
Mondays are fine.
We do that Monday?
Mhm.
Just the one, I guess. Well, I didn't
We did that Monday.
I know, I can still do my life.
Anything else? Somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved at 6:33, or is it 32? Okay, 6:30 by my watch, 6:30 by my watch.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned at 6:30.